Welcome to the Industry Insider, brought to you by PromoCorner. Each week, promotional product professionals Meg Erber, Jeff Franklin, and Stephen McFadden, along with special guests, will discuss industry news, trends, and events with a focus on educating the promotional products industry. The Industry Insider, the nerdy news you need to know.
And welcome back to another exciting episode of the Industry Insider, where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin. I'm the National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA. I'm joined today by three other lovely folks. But of course, before we get to them, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor for today's episode, our good friends over at the Brentwood line. They specialize in chairs, coolers, backpacks, and blankets. They're a well-respected supplier, known not only for their high-quality products, but also known for their customer service. Brentwood line values and appreciates its customers to the greatest extent, and they want to make sure that your expectations are met. So go be sure to check them out. Head over to brentwoodline.com and check out their latest and greatest products for all of your outdoor needs. Why don't we say hey to Meg Erber. Meg Erber, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing a lot better than I was last week. So, I'm doing good, really. Everything's nice outside. Actually, I can't even say it's nice outside. It is so hot.
Yeah, no murder scares this week?
No murder scares. No, I didn't jump off any buildings or anything. Just a plain old good solid week.
Pretty mild week for you. Pretty mild week.
Yeah. How about you, Stephen?
How are you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing great. The girls today are at the zoo. So my daughter's so we put her in a bunch of different camps this year. And one of the things that we did for her was a junior zookeeper experience thing. So she's spending the whole day as a zookeeper at a camp at a zoo. So
are they gonna make her shovel?
I mean, do it all, right? I mean, I'm excited to hear the stories. So she's in mammal camp. So they're gonna specialize in all the mammals and stuff. I'm like, that sounds amazing.
That for adults?
Yeah,
right?
Right? Yeah. I was like, that sounds amazing. I want to go. So it's awesome. About an hour or so from here, but I was like, you know what? A one-day experience, you got to do it. Go do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we're joined by a very special guest today, Josh Robbins with, just really excited to have you on. We're talking about Promocations today. And this is a whole new venture with you and Mr. Petrie, right?
It is, yeah. We finally got this thing going. We were ready to roll pre-COVID, and that kind of put the kibosh on all cruises. So we're excited to finally get this thing going and pumping again. So,
well, I'm really excited to launch into the topic, but it is customary for us to give our special guest a good 3 to 4 minutes to introduce yourself and tell us all things Josh Robbins, maybe how you got started in the promotional products industry and what you've been up to since.
Jeff, you're gonna need 3 or 4 hours. You ready?
That's fine, man. Let's do it. We'll just fill the whole.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So the long and the short of it is, I'm the owner of Vault Promotions, which is a supplier. We make name badges, plates, signs, personalized items. I kind of stumbled into this thing. I didn't, follow in footsteps. I didn't have buddies. It wasn't well planned out. I just fell into it. I was a portrait studio manager for a children's portrait studio. So I was used to managing all these photographers and taking pictures of 2 and 3 year olds and running around at Christmas time trying to get 2 and 3 year olds to smile. The fake achoo, blow the tissue off your mouth to get them to smile. Or little boys, you're hitting yourself in the head and they just start cracking up. And it was. It only works for boys, though. Girls look at you like you're dumb still. Yeah. So
some things never change.
I know, man. No sense of humor. This was my second or third job, though, that was kind of corporate, that had been taken away just because of downsizing or mergers, acquisitions. And so when that happened, I wanted to find a family-owned company. And I had a background in printing from the pictures. So I found a printing company. I stumbled into it. And it just so happened that they were in the industry and they sold name badges. And it was brutal. It was the worst job I could ever think of. I remember 2 or 3 weeks in, I'm like, this could be the nerdiest thing I think anybody could come up with. Like, there are actually people that sell name badges. I mean, I even won a contest on a local radio station for having like the nerdiest gig of all time. It was hilarious.
That's the best.
And so I know, and it did suck like for the first little while, but because I only saw like a small little portion of what we were doing, and I know that the product line is very niche, but it was even more so when you're stuck in a cubicle. And so it wasn't really until I got out to the trade shows and started meeting people and some of the crazy personalities and seeing exactly how large this whole spider web is, that I really started to fall in love with it. And so about 5 years in, I had worked myself up to VP of marketing at that point and was going to all the shows and really enjoying myself. And another merger came in and the owner sold the company. And so I had just had enough. And at that point I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it myself. And so we started Vault Promotions. We hired everybody back that was laid off and said, screw you, Joe Boo, I do it myself. And just kind of, we just went for it. And that was 10 years ago. And so, we've just been really blessed with, all the growth, and we're still here and still loving it. So.
Congratulations.
See, that's kind of the negative aspect to mergers and acquisitions. We actually just last week we talked about we had a guest on and was talking about mergers and acquisitions, and there was actually some good things that came out of that conversation. But I mean, look, there's even though there was some bad that came out of that particular merger, you were able to start your own business, and you've been around a while and doing it for a while. So I'm excited that things are going well for you.
Yeah, thanks. And I mean, it can be bad, but it's like it's a momentary bad. It's kind of one of those, one step back to take two steps forward kind of thing. And so when you look back, I mean, it was truly a blessing because I don't think that I would have gone out on my own, unless that happened, unless I was pissed off. So it does work out for the best. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it can take its toll, especially as an employee when you have no control over the situation, and you're faced with just, terrible consequences. But in the long run, I think it helps you grow.
It does. And, it's funny. We were talking before the show started about how long we've known each other and how little time we've actually spent in person together. But we've known each other for like 13, 14 years, Josh. And I feel like I know everything about you, which kind of segues into our topic today about Promocation and this really cool business you and Bill Petrie had started, and how all the networking and all the best parts of this relationship, of this job, of this industry isn't necessarily done when we're selling our name badges, right? Because that's like that's like the boring part. The best part is the networking. It's the time off the show floor, or it's the time out of the boardroom. It's the time that you get to spend as friends. And I've always kind of pride myself in building these relationships with my customers where literally I feel like I'm almost best friends with everybody, all of my customers. And we have these off camera, I guess you want to call them, relationships. And I don't know, I feel like that's what Promocation is doing. Tell us a little bit more about the thought process going into starting this business and how it came to be. Because I'm really excited about this for you guys. It's really neat and different.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. That was exactly the idea. Going back to when I said when I started in the industry, it was terrible until I started to meet some of the people that were out and about. And when you're at a traditional trade show, especially as a supplier, and you're scanning badges, you're not. It's good, it's necessary, but you're not establishing those relationships. But then when the show floor stops and you go out to dinner with somebody and you actually get to know them, or maybe their wife came with them to dinner and you actually get to see a different side of them, their actual real side. A lot of these events that are in person, the one-on-one meeting events that we have done a lot of, the pitches are great and they're needed because it allows me to sell my product. But honestly, if somebody walks in and sees that I'm about to pitch them 25 minutes on name badge sales, it's like, shoot me now, And so I have found that for me personally, all the relationships are formed off of the show floors. They're at the breakfast, they're at lunch, there's eating involved or drinking involved usually. But it's golfing, it's doing excursions, and kind of like you said, Meg, we're kind of on the same side of the fence here, but I still consider you a friend because we're kind of in this crazy thing together, and so the idea was, how do we morph kind of the traditional way of networking and just get straight to the good stuff? Like, how can we have fun together? How can we go out, enjoy the company, because there's so many awesome people in this industry, and help it kind of cement these relationships? Because like you said, a lot of the distributors and partners that we work with, I do feel like we're friends with, and I would bend over backwards to make sure that their business is successful. And those are the types of relationships that we want. I don't want somebody, sending me a PO and then beating me up all week long about, price and production time. Like, it's kind of a two-way street. And so I feel like suppliers are trying to sell distributors, but distributors also need to go out and establish relationships with good vendors. You need that friendship. You need your trusted, 8, 9, 10 suppliers that are just going to run through fire for you. And so I think it's important on both sides. So we wanted to cut through all the chit chat and let's just go do life together. Let's do something that's fun. Let's vacation. Let's go to swank spots. Let's go on a cruise. Let's do business while we're there, but let's also just live life and write it off.
So let's just take one step back, because I know we kind of talked about how all the business is done off the trade show floor, and I completely agree. I mean, a trade show for us a lot of times is really just waving the flag and maybe showing off some new product or something like that. All the relationships, and that's because honestly, there's 15, 20 hat vendors, like whatever it is, whatever that number is. And we all kind of sell kind of a similar product. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's only so much differentiation that you can do. I personally think Headwear's got the best package out there, but ultimately what it comes down to is the relationship and who you choose to buy from. So you're 100% correct, but tell us exactly like what Promocations is, because we've talked about a cruise, we talked about a couple other things. So how did this all come to be? And because I'm looking at the event list that you guys got up, there's 6 events on the site already through the next year and a half. It looks like you're doing about 4 events a year. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I can't wait to get more information and try to twist my boss's arm to let me get on that first cruise. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Let's get you on, Jeff.
Yeah, but he'll probably if we do it, he'll probably be the one that does it. Unfortunately, you really got to take me though, Nick. I mean, honestly, like I think we both should probably be there.
I mean, we're making the introduction, right? So we get to. I'm calling it SNS. I'm going. I'm calling it. I'm going this time.
So there are a few events. So the way that this started was Promo Cruise. So in full transparency, Promo Cruise was kind of the thing that we had talked about, because it sort of lended itself to this sort of captive audience and the ability to do one-on-one meetings when you're at sea. So for half a day, you can kind of get the business part out of the way, the introductions, to kind of explain who you are, what you do in the industry. And then the rest of it was just kind of filled with experiences. And so a cruise ship just lended itself to that really nicely. But we also kind of thought about this and said, well, why limit ourselves to that? Because there are a lot of times where, a lot of these national shows that we go to are in some nice places. Sometimes you don't get to experience the niceties of the locations, or, you don't get to hang out at the pool all the time at the resort that you're at. And so we said, why don't we just also take it to resorts? Why don't we take it to other places? And why limit it to just the cruise ship? So we have a promo cruise, and then Promocations is going to be more of the resort type. So it's, let's go to some of these locations and let's either rent out a large Airbnb or multiple Airbnbs in the same area. Let's go to an all-inclusive resort. Let's go to Cabo. Let's go to Cancun. Let's go to some of these places that we really don't get to go to in the industry, in the normal flow of trade shows. Make it about business, but, just have it on the ground. So that was kind of where Promocations came from, and we felt like Promocations sort of encompassed more of what we were trying to accomplish. And then we have a give back portion that we're gonna that we call the Promo Q. This was just a love child of Bill and I. We love smoking meat and drinking bourbon, and we said, man, wouldn't it be awesome if we could just get a crew together and just cook out just smoke all day long and just drink and have music playing. And just, so we came up with the promo queue, and the promo queue is going to be an annual event. The first couple we've got planned for Nashville, Tennessee, and it's going to be around the 4th of July because Nashville's got a spectacular 4th of July, one of the biggest in the country. And so we're going to get together, have a cook-off, just an all-day cookout. There's going to be networking set up so that we can talk to each other throughout the day and just kind of hang out. But all of the proceeds from the promo queue, we're going to give to charity. There's a Musicians on Call is the charity here in Nashville, and they actually go bedside to patients that are in the hospital and play music for them. And so that was something that kind of struck both Bill and I. And so we wanted to, kind of have that portion where we give back. And so that's what the promo queue is. So it's kind of the three factors, but they're all rolled into one that we call Promocations.
Awesome.
So
what can
I
we
have, go ahead.
Steve.
I was gonna say, my brain's like running because I'm excited and I want to know like what next. I'm already on the sign up list. I'm like, how many of these could I actually do in a year? Trying to figure out the schedule.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them, right? So walk me through as a supplier or a distributor. Like, what does their experience look like? How much business is there? How much fun is there? Like, what could someone expect as an attendee?
That was my question, Stephen. So
nice.
Yeah, way to steal that. 5. I know that I'm on an industry podcast, and I am supposed to say that this is all business. I would be lying if I said this is all business. To me, as a supplier, I am more interested in the networking and the relationship building. That's just the truth. But there does have to be a certain level of business. Otherwise, why do it? Vacationing is great, but I can go vacation with my family and not have to worry about it. So, it is built with the intention of business being done.
Hey Josh, we just want to know how to write this off. It's pretty much what we're saying. So just tell us how we can make.
I'm just going to shut up right there. It's for business.
Oh, business.
No, keep going.
So the promo cruise is going to be supplier sponsored. And so the promo cruise, the idea behind this is that the supplier sponsors are going to list the 3 or 4 distributors that they want to take on board. So instead of us having a predetermined group or pool of distributors and salespeople that we're bringing, the suppliers are going to give us a list of who they want to take on this cruise. And we can supply people for them. There's no shortage of people that want to go on a cruise, obviously. But the idea there is that it's supplier sponsored. And so that one is a little more business oriented, because if you are a guest, if you're an invitee, there are certain things that you need to do. You need to listen to who they are and what they do. And we have scheduled dinners that everybody's going to go to. But for the most part, we didn't want it to be regimented. We don't want it to, you have to look at an Excel spreadsheet to know where you need to be at what time. This is going to be, a group of probably 70 of us when it's all said and done, because everybody's bringing a +1, which I think is an incredible aspect that has not been done in this industry. So you're going to have friends, family, co-workers coming on board here. So it's really going to be kind of an expanded group. And not everybody's going to do the same thing at once, and so we're providing the necessary pit stops for collisions to happen. But then we want people to just go and make their memories. We want to set the stage for the memories to happen. And then it's up to everybody to kind of, have at it. And so we do have, there will be some excursions that we have set up that are kind of prearranged. So we've got 3 different excursions based on your level of how crazy you want to get that day. And so we envision 3 of us will split up. We've got a chill and a casual, and then a caution, a zip lining. That's what I want to do. Meg, I'll see you there.
Yeah. For sure.
So we wanted to be intentional about making these collisions happen without it feeling regimented. And so that's the cruise. The Promocations is more going to be, we probably will have presentations that happen, but it was more so just kind of getting together with your peers and discussing maybe more issues that are going on in the industry, kind of having, people that you can trust, that you can talk to, and hey, this is what I'm struggling with. Even, me as a supplier, if I wanted to talk to Jeff, I'm like, man, how many POs are you getting that are complete, and how are you handling this? Just have the ability to talk to everybody, not just there to sell, really just to kind of grow relationships all around. And so those are going to be more of a free for all. That's going to be, not really profit driven, and it's not going to be supplier sponsored. And as a supplier, I'm happy that we finally have an option where the other half is going to pay their way to come. I think that's important. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to get those together and just have these meetings where, we can hang out, chat, talk, and solve all of the promo problems at the pool.
Very cool.
I love all of this. I want to mention one thing that I had done back in 2010 because it's very similar. The promo cruise, we did a jiu-jitsu cruise. So we went to California, did a cruise to Mexico. While we were out to sea, they had like jiu-jitsu seminars, right? So, you're out to sea, you're either sleeping or eating or doing something. So we were all doing jiu-jitsu. We were there. And then when we got pulled into port, we went on all these excursions together. These people, this was 12 years ago. I am still really good friends with these people. A lot of the instructors there are like famous black belts, and it's like they're like hosting a UFC, and I'm like, yeah, I had dinner with those guys for like a week straight, and I'm like, there's Victor and Eddie, and it's so cool that I got to have these relationships of people that I'm still friends with 12 years later. So I think this is an incredible opportunity for networking, to grow the relationships, and I'm really excited. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of promo cares opportunities to get involved, especially with the give back component. I'm going to take this back to our next board meeting too and see how we can help and get involved somehow, because I really love it. I love that you're doing that.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it too, Meg. And I think that, once this becomes established and we have a couple of our events, I think it's going to be a great tool to branch out and do good. That's the ultimate goal. Bill has his own company. I have my own company. This isn't about, us setting up it's not because we wanted something to do. And it's not, it's not because we're bored or our companies aren't doing successful. Those are our money makers. This was something that we felt was needed in the industry. And so we wanted to be the ones to provide it.
It's interesting. I was going to segue into asking, from a business perspective, like, how do you monetize this? But I think you just kind of nailed it, right? Like, it'll cover itself, right? They're, your time and overhead and all that, but the opportunity to expand it, to connect people is really more the objective. So that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see this once established, also being a good tool for, some of your larger national accounts. They can get all of their top sales reps together and do a promocation, and that way they can just, leave that up to Promocations to set up without having to go and tour the resort and work through all the bookings and, all of that kind of stuff. We'll have the infrastructure for it, and so that's also kind of in the back of our minds. But yeah, like you said, make it pay for itself. That's the main thing. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what's next? Like, after you guys kill this, that seems like it would be what's next, right? Like opening this up as almost like a travel agent type thing. And I hate to say that, but
I have zero interest in becoming a travel agent.
However,
I would not be surprised if that's the next step for this, just because it does make sense. For some of these people to reward, their reps and get a small group together and do a promocation or a getaway. And the question is, well, why can't they just do that themselves? And so, we'll have to, kind of cross that hurdle. But if we have the infrastructure for it, it makes all the sense in the world to just book it,
It does.
So, yeah.
Josh, you guys should, like, when you get to that point, you guys should consider the regional associations as well for doing like a weekend retreat for the regionals to do strategic planning and things like that, because I think that's something that I don't think there's any regionals or very few regionals that actually do that. And if it's not too extreme, it could be within the budget.
Not only that.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Right now you've got, 1 or 2 shows for these regionals, and that's really it. You might have, some little get-togethers or bar hopping or, these events that are kind of set up. And I'm not trying to dismiss how important all of those are. And I'm not saying regionals don't do a good job with that, but this would be something entirely new that bonds people into a regional. This is something that actually would make somebody want to sign up for a regional, honestly.
It would. And not only that, I know that big companies, most companies, at least suppliers, have these national sales meetings, right? takes half a year to plan one of these when you have a company as big as SNS. The marketing department, there's like time has to be taken away from so much to not only organize and do the venue, do all of that, like the apparel, everything for that company that's going to these sales meetings. This could definitely be something to market to.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, do you ever foresee a end user promocation?
That is a darn good question, Mr. McFadden. No, in all honesty, we have not discussed an end user promocation. No, but I think that's a very intriguing idea. That's
you want royalty?
You caught me. Hold on, let me just take a sip of coffee. I am going off a 2-hour sleep, so.
Well, Josh, where can someone get a cool T-shirt like that? Are you guys still doing those T-shirts? Because that is really freaking cool.
That is sweet.
These are hot off the press. Literally came in just the other day. Everybody's shirts that signed up went out yesterday. Well, maybe this morning. So T-shirts are on the way, guys. Yeah, and we've got a lot of contests lined up for the shirts too. We do have some extra shirts that were not spoken for. So if you missed out on your opportunity, reach out to us. relax@promocations.com is the email, or josh@vaultpromos.com. Just send us an email. We can get you a shirt. We have some left. But the idea behind the T-shirts was to just kind of build our tribe. Like get everybody involved. We sent out like 200 packages, so 200 T-shirts went out yesterday, and so everybody's T-shirts are going to be coming in, and we've got a contest kind of set up for these shirts. So, and it's going to be over the course of 10 weeks, bi-weekly. We're going to have 5 of these contests, and every one of these contests is going to have its own prize involving some sort of merch and swag, and these are awesome prizes. And so every contest is going to be a little bit different. And every contest that you participate in, you get a point. And every contest you win, you get another point. And there will be multiple winners for all of these contests. And at the end, all of these points are thrown into a bucket, and we're going to draw for a grand prize, which is going to be a seat on the first promo cruise in April. And so that's going to be the grand prize. We're going to pick one person. It could be a supplier. It could be a distributor. We're not playing favorites here. It's going by points. And so we're going to draw a grand prize, and you're coming on the boat.
Awesome. I am looking forward to this because I love me a good competition.
No, not you.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, we're trying to drive the interaction, and like you said, we've only met a few times, but we kind of feel like we know each other. And I feel like the more social interactions that we have online kind of helps form those bonds. And these contests are going to be kind of aimed at doing that, with an eye on who do you want to hang out with? What items would you want to, take on this, and kind of tie it into the industry, but also kind of get people connected a little bit and have some fun with it, and get some merch out there. Bottom line is, everybody in this industry knows how to use what we sell. And I think we need to display that sometimes to ourselves to just kind of reiterate what it is that we do.
100%.
So Josh, I have one more question for you, I think. So you had mentioned that some of these events are supplier sponsored, some are not. So let's just talk about the first event that you guys have coming up, which looks like the Nassau cruise, April 24th through the 28th. So that one is supplier sponsored, correct?
It is. That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have a limited. Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
I was going to say we have a limited number of suppliers that are going to come on board. We don't want this to be a big, massive trade show. We don't want 60 suppliers and their plus ones and 60 distributors. So, but it is going to be an equal amount of distributors and suppliers. It's going to be category specific. So it's kind of a first come, first serve as far as category goes. And yeah, we're everybody is flying into Orlando, and so for the distributors that are invited, the flight is covered. We're all going to hang out that night. Got a little presentation that night. The very next morning, we'll have breakfast. We'll head on over to the port in a shuttle, and we're going to get it going. And so that first day, we've got a couple of events lined up. Boarding a cruise is a little bit different now than what it used to be. So there's some, when you first get on, it's going to, we've got to get some things sorted out. But then after that, it's on. And that next day we're going to be at sea, and that's when the suppliers are going to be able to talk about who they are and what they do. And then it's vacation time after that.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question, was because I know Steven's question was, how do we, what part of or what percentage is business, what percentage is fun. And so that, when you're out to sea, that's, I'm assuming you guys will have like an individual or private space where each supplier gets to introduce themselves, or is it more like a suite situation where you're going from room to room?
Those rooms are small.
Yeah. Those cabins are really small, and that's always a pain. So this is going to be straight speed dating. We do have a room set up. It's in a nice little bar area. And so, we're going to kind of go from table to table. And this isn't going to be, you're not going to bring a trade show booth and set up and show product. This is an introduction to yourself, and why do I want to get to know Jeff Franklin on this boat, and so that's kind of how, and that's how we're going to kind of approach it. And to kind of go back, whether is it business or is it fun, it's all business and it's all fun. That's what it's about.
Love it.
Awesome.
That sounds like a great tagline.
All business.
Meg, Steven, you guys have any other questions for Josh?
I don't know if you can see the back of the shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
That's awesome. Meg, Steven, any other questions for Josh?
No, it's at promocations.com, right? That's where we go to get more information.
Yep.
Yeah.
Promocations.com. What's that?
Yeah. Go ahead. I was gonna say, how do we? I put my name on a list, right? Like, how do I get that? That's why. Okay.
Yeah, and everybody that's on that list, there's going to be some communication that's going out now that we've got shirts going out. So promocations.com is where you can go to sign up either as a distributor or as a supplier. We will have cruises that also, distributors can just go on their own. So this first one is a supplier sponsored cruise, but there will be cruises in the future that are not supplier sponsored where anybody that wants to go can go. So, if you are interested in any of this, go to promocations.com. You can get the information, fill out a little form so that we can be in touch with you and get you lined up for whichever one of these promocations suits your, suits your preference. And then we also have promocations.com/contest. And that's where you want to go to get all of the information about the contest. That'll be inside your little package with your shirt. But to get a grip on the contest and to see the results and kind of see which weekly contest it is, promocations.com/contest.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm glad that you and Bill are doing it, and I'm excited to see what comes of it. Hopefully I'll get a seat. We'll see what happens.
we would love to have you on there. We would love to have you on there. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're really looking forward to it. And more than anything, I just hope that, people are able to establish memories. Your jiu-jitsu friends that you talk to 12 years down the road, stuff like this. When you experience life together, it does make a difference, and so that's what we hope happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it will for sure.
Yep.
All right, Josh. Well, I appreciate you coming on and going over it with us, and really looking forward to what comes of it. The first event, like I said, was April 24th through the 28th in 2023, and go check them out at promocations.com. But this awesome broadcast was brought to you by our good friends over at the Brentwood line, specializing in chairs, coolers, backpacks, and blankets, a well-respected supplier known not just for their high-quality products, but also for their customer service. Brentwood line values and appreciates its customers to the greatest extent, and they want to make sure that your expectations are met. So be sure to head over to brentwoodline.com and check them out. Check out the latest and greatest on all your outdoor needs. Really appreciate it, Josh. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.